This is not just for homeschoolers. You can use this now, today, for those of you that have children that are at home because of this shutdown situation. And what it is one of the things I'm going to bring up, because this is for the little ones, and this especially is for like Sandy and grandmas and mamas with little toddlers up to about maybe 7, 8 years. It's called the wiggle jar. I don't know if you can see that. The wiggle jar. And what you do, isn't this neat? You can find a jar like this, or you can get a spaghetti jar, like spaghetti sauce jar, clean it up and use that. You don't have to use as big as this. This is a 1/2 gallon jar. Or you can use a box or whatever. And you write, and in fact, you can find this online and you can print it out. I don't know if you can see that. And they're little things that you can do with your child if you're sitting there doing some things. Like, let's say you're cooking dinner and the child is just getting underfoot. There are little things to do, like 10 jumping jacks. Have them go and take it out of that jar is what you're going to do. Is you're going to print these out, or you can write them down in index cards. Little index cards. Or if you don't have index cards, construction paper or cardstock. Beautiful colors. See, look, fun things to do with your kids. And you write it down, you fold it inside the jar. See, I just put a few in here, and you put those in there, and then you just have your little one, and this is just the wiggle jar for right now. Grab one of them out, and we're going to go ahead and grab one out. See what it says, and you just unfold it. And it says, this one's for like older kids. What I wrote down here is 10 minutes of cleaning, and mommy picks out what it is. So this would be for like an elementary school age, even kindergarten. So if they're underfoot in the kitchen, you go, oh, go get the wiggle jar, and you have them pick something out. It doesn't have to be cleaning all the time, guys. It could be something fun, jump through the hula hoop 5 times, or try to do the hula hoop for 2 minutes. I'll set the timer, or something fun, something ridiculous with the wiggle jar. Then when the kids get older, you can sit down with them, and as a family, you can write down different ideas for a family fun jar. And you can sit there and write down charades, or Pictionary, or watch a documentary or a movie or something fun. And you can use this with your homeschooling as well. You can put writing prompts for the older kids. Like, they don't know, you have no idea what you want to write or anything. Put a bunch of writing prompts inside this jar. Have them pick one. That's the one you get when you pick it, so be very careful. But let them first write the list of different fun things to do, or writing prompts, science projects, fun things like that. And they just pull it out, open it up, and pick out what they want. And I'm telling you guys, we did this in our house. I didn't do the wiggle one, but I did this as an I'm bored jar. And my kids, in the I'm bored jar, what I did is I didn't put any fun things in there. I sat there and I said, when they got older, when they get to a certain age, they should be able to entertain themselves as children. But when they're younger, yeah, you need to do the wiggle jar. But with the I'm bored jar, it would be something like clean your room for 10 minutes. It would be, oh, you get to scrub my toilet. Thank you. And it would say that, because this way the kids ended up where the I'm bored jar didn't get used very often, because they found something to do instead of coming up and saying, Mom, I'm bored. And right now, with these kids that are so used to being entertained, they sit there and say, I'm bored. And FYI, guys, don't put too much of in these jars. If you can, put fun things like hide and seek, or go outside for 10 minutes to do something outside. Don't put video games, or movie time is fine if it's a family function. Board games, do a puzzle, things like that. But don't put electronics. Our children are so bombarded by electronics today, especially public school kids are having their homework given through the internet. And so they're being bombarded of that, and iPads, iPhones, this, that. Think of things that you did as a child, or that your grandparents did, because like millennials, you probably still had your video games. So what the grandparents thought that that they did. Hopscotch, go for a walk, do a nature walk, things like that. Put in those jars, and the wiggle jars are so much fun. And you could do the wiggle jar for if you're doing it as a homeschooler or even a public school family member right now. Child is doing their homework and they get real wiggly and they're not concentrating. Stop them, grab that wiggle jar, have them pull something else out and see what they have to do to get all that wiggliness, you want to call it, whatever you want to call it, out of them, and then have them sit back down and do their work. So that's from my jar to yours. That's all I have.
All right, Joe. Thank you for that. I'm bored. I remember that statement. I hated it when Jonathan and the other, I'm bored. I hated that statement. I'm bored. And I would always say, go clean your room.
Well, the one thing that my kids hated was mopping, sweeping, washing dishes, and scrubbing the toilet. So if there was one of those, if the dishes were done, I'd go into the bathroom. I wouldn't say a word to them, and they'd keep, I'm bored. And I would grab the mop, grab the broom or whatever it might be. And a lot of times it was the toilet bowl brush, because they hated having to clean the toilet, around the toilet and everything, because I had 2 boys. And yeah, you had to wipe everything down, and it was a daily thing. So here's the scrub brush. And I had one time I babysat a friend of mine's son. He was 8, 9 years old. And here I am with my 3 kids. And he comes to me and says, I'm bored. And my kids just looked at him and says, don't do that. And they're like, he's like, why? And he says, I'm bored. And I looked at him very nicely and politely. Twice he said that to me. And I said, you better go find something to do, or I'll find something for you to do. The 3rd time, I didn't say a word. I went, and my kids were laughing. And I brought the toilet bowl brush, and I says, I found something for you to do. Go to the bathroom. Everything's ready for you. You're going to go clean my toilet. He goes, you can't do that. I says, yes, I can. I'm the adult in this house. You will obey me. His mom came in while he was scrubbing the toilet. She looked at me. She goes, what is he doing? I said, remember what I told you about being bored? And she goes, oh, I need to try that.
That's good.
So don't ever come to my house and say you're bored, because you'll scrub my toilet.
Well, I always say chores. So anyway, good advice for everybody listening, especially during this martial law. Oh, I mean, stay at home thing. Sorry. I don't know what came over me. Anyway, well, we have news, and we have news. We have news.
Hey, Sandy, wasn't it a guy by the name of Marshall that actually set forth the standards of the quarantining? So, it is Marshall's law, Marshall.
There you go.
Law. That's what.
There you go. That's what it is.
We are richly blessed to bring you what we believe is the fullest, most diverse, yet up-to-date progressive teachings, discussion, and prayer programming you can find anywhere on this planet. Be sure to take the tour of the MessianicLambRadio.com website. I'm Susan Hoogie, thanking you for joining us on the Messianic Lamb Video Network.